In this video, I'm going to show you how you can convert HTML and Airtable into actual web pages that you can visit in your browser. So here we have a table with HTML, just HTML code as a text field here in Airtable. Like this is a really easy example. It's just 2 lines, and then it has these couple of placeholder items in it. And these can actually be used to insert data from other fields into the HTML code that we then use to generate the website. So in this case, we're using these 2 placeholders to insert a first and last name. And then this is actually our final HTML that we use to generate the web page. So here you can see the placeholder 1 and placeholder 2 have been replaced by the first and last name for this record. And you can see if we look at the formula that we use for this, it's a simple substitute formula. And you can see there's 2 of them nested within each other, basically. And you can kind of, you could just do one if you only have one piece of data that you want to include. But if you have more than that, you can simply keep nesting them further to replace, placeholder 3, 4, and you can use whatever text you want. It's just important that it's something that's not going to be accidentally contained in your HTML, because otherwise it would be replaced. So what makes sense is to have something that's going to be somewhat unique, so that it's only going to be contained in your HTML on purpose and not by accident. So using like some kind of special formatting, or like those square brackets, for example, like we use here, kind of makes sense. So what happens is each occurrence of square brackets, placeholder 2, all in caps, is going to get replaced by the value of the field placeholder 2. And the same for placeholder 1. So now with this formula, we then have our HTML. And then you can see we have another formula field with a link to a website that actually renders out that HTML from that field. So here you can see we've got the first name and last name inserted here from the record. And another example would be a much more complicated one. So you can see there's a lot going on here. And we've done the same kind of, well, it's the same formula field, so there's the same sort of replacing of the 2 placeholders. And then if we click on this link, you can see there's a lot of options in terms of what you can do with formatting, etc. So this is actually a really, really powerful feature. And let me show you how you can set this up. So on mini extensions, you just go to create an extension, and then you search HTML. You'll see at least these 2. We're focusing on this one for now, which is to convert HTML to an Airtable to web pages. But this also works really well in conjunction with our convert markdown to HTML extension. So basically you could have markdown text, convert that to HTML with this extension, and then use that HTML to then generate a web page. So let's focus on this for now, because we already have the HTML ready. You just select your table, hit create, and then all you have to do is select the field that contains your HTML. In our case, it's this formula field here, because that's the one that contains the dynamic data. So that's the one with the substitute formulas. And then we go to formula for web page, and this formula here is essentially what we have in this URL field here. So you just go ahead and paste your formula from mini extensions in here, and that's going to generate a unique URL for each record that you can then send to your customers or whatever it is you want to do with this. There's, as I was mentioning, this is a very, very powerful extension. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that changes to this data here, or to the HTML in general, changes to this field, the one that you're actually using um, to generate the web page, aren't always immediately reflected because these websites that are somewhat cached for a few minutes, so it can take up to like 5 minutes or so to display any changes here. So say if you change the name, for example, it's not going to show up immediately on the web page. So just keep that in mind. So if your data changes a lot, just remember that it can take a little while to reflect in the web page itself. So yeah, so that's about it. If you have any questions about this or need help setting this up, feel free to let us know, and we'd be happy to help.